Hello, friends and family, and welcome back to our channel. Today is our final discussion in the You Matter series, and we will be discussing self-care. So if you're interested, stay tuned. And if you're ready, let's get into it. Welcome back to Choosing to Live Now. My name is Taneshia, and yes, you heard it correctly. Today, we will be ending our series talking about self-care. Now, I know you have heard so many conversations about self-care in our popular culture over the last couple of years, and I know that there's so much information that you probably know about self-care, or you think that you know about self-care, but today I want to clear up some misconceptions about self-care. But first, let's begin with talking about what self-care is not. Let's start. Number one, self-care is not the opportunity in one's life where they overindulge in things that they love in an effort to feel better about a situation they do not prefer. Woo! Coming in hot. Can I say that again for the people on the side? Y'all, self-care is not the opportunity for an individual to overindulge in something that they love for the purposes to feel good in the moment. Number two, self-care is not a momentary fix of a situation. Say what? You heard me. Self-care is not the opportunity for you to have a momentary fix in a difficult situation. What you mean, Taneshia? I mean this. Self-care is designed to be something that is lasting or has lasting benefits to your life force, your ability to have vitality, strength, and power in your existence. It is not just temporary. It is designed to leave you with residual effects that are positive so that you can live your best life now. Number three, self-care is not the opportunity for you and I to give up on ourselves and become reckless with our lives. What you mean, Taneshia? There are some people who say when they are needing to have self-care is that they go and they overindulge in all sorts of things like alcohol and drugs and illicit behaviors in a way to drown out the pain that they are experiencing in a moment. That is not what self-care is, my brothers and my sisters. And number four, self-care is not a cop-out from dealing with hard things when you are faced with them. My brothers and my sisters. And you might be saying, what you mean it's not a cop-out? My brothers and sisters, self-care is not a way for you to be able to escape, we're back to that word again, from dealing with hard things. Wow. So then you might be wondering, what is self-care? And the only way that I could really define what self-care to you is to go back to our beautiful definition of what a need is that we have learned from the American Psychological Association. Can I give it to you again, my brothers and my sisters? Okay, here's my note. Let me read it to you. According to the American Psychological Association, okay, a need is when an individual It is tension, that an individual experiences that is resulting from a deprivation of something required for their survival, well-being, and or personal fulfillment. Let me read it to you one more time. My brothers and sisters, here it is. According to the American Psychological Association, here's what a need is. It is a condition of tension in which an individual experiences resulting from a deprivation of something required for survival, well-being, or personal fulfillment. Woo! So we talked about this when we talked about the idea that our needs matter too. That was about 2 conversations ago. And so when we try to figure out what self-care is meeting the needs that we have that cause us as humans to be deprived of something that we need for survival, well-being, and personal fulfillment. I'm gonna say it again. Coming in hot on today. So this means that when we are referencing self-care, we are taking care of ourselves to provide the needs that have been we've been deprived. So when we're talking about self-care, we are talking about developing ways to meet the needs we have that exist because we have been deprived of something that is required for us to survive and thrive and be our best self. Now, when we first talked about needs, my brothers and sisters, we really talked about the idea that you and I actually have them, and we really need to deal with that reality. That no matter what we go through in life, we're always asked, our society is set up that we're asked to do so much for everyone around us that we often neglect what we personally need. And I even shared a story with you about the idea that I have seen men in particular in my family who have lived their lives serving the needs of others so much, and that they became so deprived that they never took care of themselves, and that their life force began to get very dim and they expired. So that gives you the indication of how important it is for you and I to meet the needs that we have. But my brothers and my sisters, one of the biggest challenges that our society's conversation about self-care is that there are no limits to what self-care is. We talk about things that we can do, such as if we are females going to the spa, we talk about walking away, taking a walk, taking a stroll. Those things are great. And they are great, absolutely marvelous ways for you to be able to decompress stress in a moment. And we will get to that in a few moments. But when I'm referencing self-care as a whole construct to you, my brothers and sisters, my friends and family, what I'm talking about is a lifestyle of valuing yourself enough to get your needs met. Woo! I'm feeling revved up. I told you this whole series, I feel like I've been talking to the top of my lungs. I've been almost screaming at the camera, and I'm not projecting at you. You know, brothers and sisters, if you've been in this journey long enough, you already know I'm in it with you. And I am the queen of doing too much all the time. And so I can relate to you, my brothers and my sisters, if that is what you're going through, because it is so normal in our world today to overdo it to the extent that we forget ourselves, because we're trained to get beyond our feelings and just focus on the now and focus on the grind, because we're really trying to make it. It's a real millennial ideology where we are out here in this world trying to make that thing happen that we never thought could happen. Living out our dreams. Honestly, it's not even just millennial. It's millennial, it's Gen X. I don't know the one in between. Y, Z, is all of them. Because in every generation, those who are the most successful that you will hear tell their stories, talk about they only sleep 4 hours a day. They talk about how they grind all the time because they don't want to be poor or broke. It's talking about hard work and determination. And those things are all important, all needed, and all great. But my brothers and my sisters, if you neglect yourself on the journey, you will not live to enjoy what you are building for yourself. Can I say that again for the people in the back? Y'all, did y'all hear that? If you don't take care of yourself, you will build everything you're planning to build and not live to see it and enjoy it. Woo! Good call. Oh man, that's for me. Wow. Wow. So Taneshia, what are you saying? What I am saying is, and the purpose of our conversation today is to help you to consider a healthy way of navigating and thinking about self-care. Yeah. Have to do it healthy. Yeah. And yes, there are moments when self-care is great for dealing with stress. As a matter of fact, so many of your psychologists and your therapists are going to tell you about, they're going to ask you when you're talking to them about stress, how do you navigate self-care, right? But I'm going to be very honest with you. Oftentimes we take the information that we receive about self-care and we really just use it in a moment. Here's how we navigate self-care for a lifetime. Number one, we figure out what it is that we need, which goes back to our previous video that talked about needs, where we sit still and spend enough time with ourselves to recognize what is depleted. And you might be saying, I'm so busy. How do I do that? Get up earlier or stay up later at night. Spend time quietly meditating. Now for me, I meditate on scripture. I talk to the Lord and I pray. And then I sit still after I pray and let God speak to me and watch over my day with me, over my life, over my journey. I journal out my feelings and my emotions, and I sit still and I sit in those emotions, and I really find out what I'm actually thinking when I journal. I know you've heard me say that for almost every psychological strategy that I've talked about, but that's because, my brothers and my sisters, not only does it work, it's documented by research. And if you know me, as you're getting to know me, I am an evidence-based individual as it relates to treatment. If you were my client, I would not give you any support that was not based up by actual research. So I am guided by the research that helps. Yeah. So journaling, spending time with yourself, really spending time with yourself to find out what your needs are, because that's the only way you're going to find out that you are depleted. Number two, valuing yourself enough that you will slow down to care about what your needs are. These are the precursors to you actually even being able to do self-care. Because what is self-care if you're not meeting a need? But if you will not spend time with yourself, if you won't value yourself enough to slow down, because the first thing people will say, I just don't have time. Which gives me the indication that number two is true for you. You don't value yourself. You don't value who you are and your talents, your gifts, and your amazingness enough to cultivate it, to protect it, so that it will continue to produce the life and the prosperity and the joy and the creativity that it produces. Listen, a well that is dry, my brothers and sisters, is dry. There will be no water that's coming from that dry well. So this purpose of figuring out who you are and spending time valuing yourself to evaluate your needs is critical before you can even get into the self-care portion. Yeah. Now that our needs are identified, so we have made a decision. Okay, boom. I'm going to spend some time alone, long enough to figure out where I'm deprived. 2, going to value myself enough that I'm going to continually spend this time silently, because I recognize that I need to be recharged. Even if I feel charged, I need to recharge. I need to value myself enough that I will consistently make time for myself. Now that so let's say we've done all those things. They're done. Boom. We've identified our needs. So now what self-care is activities, behaviors, strategies that now go in to meet needs that you've identified in a way that replenish you. And this replenishment should last you longer than just one day. So what I mean by that is, if I go and get a massage today because I have been under such a high level of stress, when the masseuse finished working on relieving me in a Swedish massage, the effects of that massage is going to last me at least 2-3 weeks to a month. It is long lasting, and it's going to build up my stamina for stress so that I'm not immediately tight again. You understand? So then when it comes to self-care, you are looking for things that replenish you long term. Yeah. So one of the things that we neglect in our self-care is often our health, i.e. what we eat. And there are a lot of people I've heard who say, this is a self-care day, so I'm about to eat this Big Mac and these fries, or this pizza, or this fast food of whatever kind, and I'm going to devour this until I feel better. And while I appreciate the sentiment of that, my brothers and my sisters, will that have long-lasting impacts on your overall well-being? Could you do that every day in order to replenish you in places where you are deprived? Sure, your wants are met, but wants and needs are different. Wants are things that I desire, but I can live without. But a need is something that your life force will be removed if you don't have. So when we're talking about self-care, we're looking for things that take care of our health. One of the greatest types of self-care that exists is going to be what? Working out. Yeah. You heard it correctly. Us working out. Why? Because number one, working out is going to alleviate stress from our bodies. Yeah. Make us energetic. It's going to make us strong. It's going to make us powerful, both physically and mentally. There's something about taking a run or a nice walk that takes your pressure away. It gives you a different perspective because you're smelling fresh air. Your body is moving in a meaningful way. It's amazing, my brothers and my sisters. Which is why it is a powerful way to build you up. And if I work out today, and I do it every day, the residual effects are going to be with me even on days when I can't work out. Yeah. That's what I mean. Another powerful strategy for self-care is eating well. Now, do I mean not having dessert? No. Because I mean, that is a form of enjoyment. But if you know that you do not do well with a bunch of sugar in your body, your dessert, you might just change the way you eat dessert. It might be fruit that you have instead of a dessert. It might be a less sugary type of dessert. But the idea is by eating well, you feel better. It changes your mind. Did you know that eating massive amounts of sugar causes lethargy? My brothers and sisters. It means it makes you lethargic. You can't think clearly. If you've ever watched journeys of people who become vegans, right? They become vegans and all of a sudden the first thing that they say is, oh my God, my mind is so clear. Listen, I was a pescatarian for a year and then I was a vegan for a year. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. It was the clearest thinking I've ever had. And so I've been trying to get back into that vein of eating more of a plant-based diet. And more specifically, fresh leafy fruits and vegetables, because they give me clarity of thought. Try it for yourself. Change your diet a little bit. It doesn't even have to be a lot. That is a way that you can develop self-care for yourself. Another form of self-care that is extremely healthy for yourself is spending time alone. So we talked about spending time alone, as a way of determining what our needs are, but also spending time alone for people, especially individuals who identify themselves as being introverted. They get their energy by spending time alone because their creativity is there. But even an introvert can be overwhelmed by doing so much for other people that they don't take time to center themselves and be alone. Another form of self-care for some of us could be spending time with valuable people in our lives that could pour life back into us, who know us, who believe in our vision, who believe in who we want to become, who know our story, and who are our private cheerleaders, who are healthy individuals to be around. Yeah. When you can do that, my brothers and my sisters, you have set yourself up to be strengthened by the people in your environment. Another form of self-care that is healthy, I've talked about this already, but let's make it a formal thing. Prayer and meditation. I talked about what I do to find out what my needs are, but it also can work as a form of self-care, because I don't know if you've ever prayed, but if you pray in a stillness of heart, or even in tears, there's a release that comes off of you that lasts longer than the day that you pray. Find whatever works for you, even in meditation. I don't just randomly meditate on silence. I meditate on everything that I believe that God says about me. Yup. So I repeat those things to myself, and I sit still and I build myself up on the things I know to be true. You do meditation the way you research it and the way that works for you. But I want to say that meditation is a powerful way, my brothers and my sisters, to recharge your life. Now, for a brief moment, let's talk about using self-care as a way to help us in moments of acute stress, which is what we're so used to. Listen, we know this kind of self-care, but sometimes going to go get you your dessert of the day that you like is not a bad thing for self-care. Because if you've poured out all day, just all day long, and you just have not gotten any peace, sometimes pouring in something into your life that you enjoy in a small quantity that's not going to harm you, that's not going to take you off your focus, is appropriate. So have your dessert, my brother and my sister. It's been a stressful day. Another thing that you can do on a stressful day is take a real quick walk, or honestly, if you can't walk, step out in the air and smell it. Yup. You're in the middle of a heated meeting at work, and you want to flip out on everybody, and you recognize that you can't. You're up for promotion. You need to be calm. Just breathe some air. Yes. Take yourself out on a drive. Go manage your emotions in a conversation with your friends on the phone. Take 5 minutes. I just said 5, not 10, not an hour, not 2 hours. And look at something funny on social media. Let's not stay there. But you can use those as brief escapes from the moment, where you can have enough time to step away from the situation you're in these triage, acute stress moments, to take a deep breath, to laugh, and to then recalibrate with the right thoughts and ideas. Yeah. You can also treat yourself when you have a stressful day to buying something that you really like. It doesn't have to be big. It can be $10 or $20. Buy yourself on Amazon. I don't know about you, my brothers and sisters, but me and Amazon, During the pandemic, we're best friends. And we're still tight. Okay? Tight. So if you want to buy yourself something for $5 or $10, just something that will make you excited. For my husband and a couple of my best friends, they love pens. And so for them on a stressful day, they might treat themselves to a brand new pen or a brand new notebook. These are short, small self-care moments or self-care strategies that you can use in a moment when you're having acute stress. Now, these may not have as much long-term effect, but what they do is remind you that you are important in that moment, that you matter, that the buffoonery of life that you're experiencing is not exclusive to you, that the people around you may be the problem and it's not you. And even if it is you because you don't agree with what they're saying, it's momentary. You don't have to carry it with you. Yeah. But remember, my brothers and sisters, self-care is designed to be a lifestyle. It is not designed to be a moment in time. It's designed to be a lifestyle. You matter enough to take care of yourself and to determine what your needs are in a meaningful way. And you matter enough to take care of yourself through self-care in ways that replenish you from being depleted. And it is not an option to do self-care. It is necessary. It's mandatory. If we don't take care of ourselves, no one else will. And we've already learned this from the existence that we've lived in already. Yeah. But I want you to be encouraged as we leave this series and know that you matter. That your journey is not irrelevant. That there are going to be ebbs and flows in the journey, but you're not alone. I'm here with you. Our community is with you. We are a safe space. And we know that there have been difficult and unusual times, but we want to encourage you. We want to encourage you that we're going to get through this together. All right, my brothers and sisters, if you like the content on this channel, please subscribe, please like, please share, and please comment. And when we meet next time, we're going to be talking about an entirely different conversation altogether. Until next time, blessings to you today, my friends.